Okay.
How long has Sleepy Hollow been on?
This is its second season, and it's midway through its second season.
Yes, you are correct. I think, right? No.
You know what is awesome? Is that this is recorded, and I can actually take that sound clip of you saying, yes, you are correct. And I can loop it all day long if I want to. I'm put it on my phone. I don't have the other one you recorded for me. She gave me a keychain that's a recordable keychain, and it has her just going, you're right. You're right. You're right. What did you give that?
No, it just says, you're right, and left it at that. And so, whenever he really needs the affirmation and needs to hear it, because apparently I don't say it enough, he can just play that for himself, and I actually don't have to say it. So I guess I'm an evil wife. Thank you for that. Right?
No, you're a wonderful wife. All right. So Gotham had a lot of storylines going on. Now, you just watched this episode, and what were your thoughts of it when you were done? I wanted you to tell them, because you told me, and I was like, I jumped up. I jumped up, and I was like, yes, when you said this. So go ahead.
So one of the things I liked, I actually skipped 2 episodes just so I could watch this last one because Yen said it was a great episode. And I'd say you were right. It was fantastic. And one of the things, I know, you're right.
Yeah!
You're correct. So you record those and play them all you want because they could be the last ones you ever hear.
Yeah, am I pushing it too far?
No.
I need to get this, people can't see this, but I just need to get this grapple and this banapple off the screen. It's been staring at me.
I have to stare at the banapple the whole time, which I think is going to be like between banapple and peenapple. Those could be the words of the day.
Okay.
So what I really liked is the cast choices. They introduced some new characters, new casts. Gordon's in Arkham Asylum, and I am a huge Arkham Asylum fan, so I'm excited that he's there. Even though I'm sad QQ that it's a punishment for him.
Did you know that speaking of cast, that there's a Doctor Who tie-in on this? Did you know that?
What's the Doctor Who?
So the guy who plays Alfred,
yeah,
Sean Pertwee, right here. This is the son of a very famous of the third Doctor, John Pertwee. You don't know who the third Doctor is. You don't go that far back in your nerd zone. That's okay.
I'm a Tom Baker
This gives me an excuse to get off the grapple fruit.
The whole big scarf thing and the crazy socks.
I can get off the grapple fruit now and do a search of John Pertwee. Oh God, did I break it again?
I was gonna say, good job.
Jesus.
He's a banapple.
Here, John Pertwee.
Okay.
That's John Pertwee. Here, hold on. Here we go. Let's save the image. Oh my God, it's all my embarrassing faces that I use for my thumbnails. That ought to be interesting. Here we go. Third Doctor. All right, we'll save it right here. Where is he? I'm gonna put him up on the screen next to his son. Let's do a comparison.
Can you confirm or deny the existence of a banapple character in DCUO?
I don't know. That's a good question. There, look at the similarity. My God, you know what I'm thinking, Ellen? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cover you up here.
It's okay.
There we go.
You're covering up the evil presence.
I know. Yeah, the ring. The Samara that's coming after you. You know what I'm thinking? If they ever wanted to do a crossover in the current Doctor Who's, and they wanted to have the third Doctor actually show up for some reason, you know how they often do that with reunion stuff.
Right.
They could cast his son in 2 seconds, put a wig on him, and he's there. Anyway, so that's a Doctor Who crossover. Ellen's a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah, and a fine actor too.
He's really great, and
but
you know what?
I was a
He wasn't even in this episode. He's like one of the best characters on this show, and he wasn't even in this episode. That's how good this episode was. So yeah, you love the cast, right?
Yeah, I think the cast is great. The actress from Firefly.
Rebecca Mokarin.
I don't know her name, but I know she played Inara.
Yes.
And I was really excited to see her.
She is pretty.
And also the actor Chris Heyerdahl.
Who?
He was in Sanctuary, played Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about him.
Yeah. Oh,
in a second.
I don't mean to do any
No.
spoilers.
Keep going.
But
keep going.
I love that actor. He's a great character actor. So I was excited to see him. He was on Stargate Atlantis. Basically, a lot of nerd
there
shows.
She is.
And I will excuse him for being in the Twilight movies, but he was good in that.
He was. Oh, I love that. Finally, when they rip him to pieces.
So he's really good. And the show's got such a great
Morena
cast.
Baccarin.
Yeah.
That's her name. Morena Baccarin. She was on V too, and I'm bummed we didn't get to find out what was going on with her on V. Now she's not exactly a spit image for the character that she's playing, right? Dr. Leslie Tompkins, who, by the way, is in our game, in the first series of Batman mentor missions. But yeah, there she is in Firefly, Inara.
But I really like that actress, so I was glad to see her
for the
get
male
cast.
fans out there right now. There you go, male watchers. That's for you.
Very pretty, very good
pretty.
Actress. She's got good nerd cred.
She sure does,
Yep.
right? She's been in a Joss production with Nathan Fillion. Gotta have good nerd cred there. All right, so this whole episode has 5 major storylines going on. Okay. And I'm going to try and bust them up into different sections here so it doesn't get too confusing and not go chronological. The main story arc for this entire episode takes place with Gordon in Arkham Asylum. Okay? So we're going to talk about that first. And the way this starts out, it's so well done. There's a play going on, okay? And it's very off-kilter, very kooky. Gordon is watching it. He looks absolutely bored out of his mind. The play is happening. It's very weird, full of weird characters. In fact, when this first happened, and by the way, look at this guy. What the hell did they give a guy with like Freddy Krueger gloves on his hands for running around Arkham Asylum?
But I loved it. I was like, Halloween costume.
Oh my! That is you heard it here. Ellen's idea, people, is for you. You want to go a cool Halloween costume, and you're nerdy. There it is, right there. You do these characters from Gotham. We're totally doing
This
that.
guy.
Yeah, look at that guy. He's nuts.
Which is what you would expect from Arkham Asylum if you're going to do a play.
So Gordon's watching this weird play that's going on in Bio. It's a very disturbing play. It is very, very strange. Go away, ghost that's watching Ellen. Go.
Well, you know what? It's making me do this unnatural hold my head back.
Maybe if I turn the lights off a little bit, down a little bit, we'll be a little less bright, but it'll probably stop happening. And then there's this crazy kooky nurse. And I've seen this actress before, too. Do you happen to know who she is or where we've seen her before? Because she's super familiar. She plays characters.
I couldn't remember.
I can't remember either. Anybody out there actually know who that is? Because I can't remember her name. But she's running the play, kind of. And then this creepy guy comes on and starts singing some stuff. And this character right here, who originally when he came out, I actually thought he might be Maxie Zeus because they were kind of thunder and lightning kind of feel to the whole play with the waves back there, and I thought they were going to do that, but it's not. He's a character named Jack Gruber, and he's very important as the story unfolds. And here he is. He's sort of the lead in this play, and there is someone he refers to as his slave. This guy right here is watching the play, and when the guy down by the nurse with the kooky feather angel halo starts singing, he gets up and like beats the crap out of him. This guy in the top left corner actually is the slave of the lead guy, and that's very important for later too. One of the things that was very cool here, and I don't know if you noticed this or not, but when the guy started singing on the stage, right, it was like, I can't even remember. It was like this
and
weird,
I'm thinking, someone's just gonna kill that guy in a second.
In the forest, in the they started doing this montage. It was this insane song. It was insanely sung. And they matched it over a montage where they transitioned to Barbara Gordon and Renee Montoya sleeping in a bed in a hotel room. Harvey Bullock drinking in the precinct. They basically, and Selena Kyle like in an alley somewhere. So they were basically took this insane music and this insane kind of, in this insane asylum, this really creepy song, and they just transitioned it out into the city. And it was just a wonderful parallel about how insane Gotham is and how nuts the whole situation is there and the characters are. And so I thought that was a really interesting technique to kind of tie in where the storylines were going to go to. So anyway, this attack happens, and then we meet this director who is a total douchebag to Gordon. He tries to cover all this up and everything like that, the attack. And it looks like it turns out that this guy has electrode marks. Oh, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry. This guy does the attack. And they're basically, the director is like, Gordon, this is like the 5th incident since you've been here. You need to get on it and figure out what the fuck is going on with these people. And so he starts doing interviews of all the patients. And the first one he talks to is Jack Gruber, who is clearly very intelligent. And then he starts talking to these other people. Ellen, this was the best. These characters were the freaking best. I absolutely loved it. Let me actually go through them here. This is going so fast. Let me actually slow it down. It's going way too fast. I don't want it to go this fast. Okay. This is the first guy you see. And he just starts crying. He's like, he just starts crying. Then you see...
We'll call him Crybaby.
Crybaby inmate. Then you see this guy who's like trying to steal stuff from Gordon. And he just grabs his case file and like clutches onto it.
So he's mine.
Yeah, he's the Larfleeze like of this episode for sure. This guy just starts getting agitated and banging on the desk, okay? And then he's
hangry.
Yeah, he's hangry. They're not feeding him enough.
Yes.
That's possible. This guy was the best. His face was like Jello. He would be like, he would go like that, and his eye was all off kilter, and his whole face was going back and forth, and he was just giggling and laughing. This dude was like, yeah, Gordon's looking for this key. Yeah, I got your key. He was really weird about it too. Oh, look what I've done.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Look what I've done.
Evil.
I know. Why is it doing that? Stop. Go away, evil
Oh,
freaking
look what
things.
you did now.
I've done bad things.
Yes.
It's
not going to go away now.
I don't know why it does that. It's very strange. And then this guy was really angry dude with the freaking teddy bear. So very, very strange. Yeah, we'll try moving forward. Go away!
Demons out!
I don't know what the hell it's doing right there. It's a new setup for us. Is that working better now? It's like so weird, like what works one moment and what works the next.
Technology.
It changes too. Like why does it change like that?
I don't know. We'll have to do a little investigation
no
on that so we
sense.
can make that go away.
Yeah, it's freaking annoying. Oh, there's the green screen behind us. Oh my God, they've seen how we do everything, Ellen.
There's a green screen.
Oh, there is. There's a green screen back there.
Well,
Okay.
anyway.
Let's shrink ourselves down
So we got the key guys, or the key guy. He's the key master.
He is the key master. All right. And now, so he's conducting his interviews. Then we have this very interesting stuff going on with, turn this up. There we go. That made it kind of go away.
Okay.
Go away. There we go. So then we have this weird shock therapy going on. So the guy who attacked the singer ends up getting Gordon finds him in his cell, and he's got these electrodes, like he's been lobotomized with electricity. And I didn't put Dr. Leslie Tompkins in here at this point. I forgot to actually add her in here, but that's where we first see her. Mm-hmm. She consults on that attack. And then later we see this singer guy get abducted too. And he's being strapped into this table. And all these electrodes are being used on him, and I think this is one of the coolest scenes. They actually, when he starts getting lobotomized and getting the shock therapy, mm-hmm. and look how creepy all this equipment is. It's like old and crusty, and this is like somewhere abandoned, like in Arkham Asylum, and
which is not better than the rest of Arkham Asylum. No. It's pretty dingy and creepy.
And what they did was they actually started doing this really cool technique with the film. So they had the guy writhing on the table, but they actually cut frames out of it. And so he would be like, it was like the Nicelanders and freaking Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, and so they were doing that for the electrocution, and it looked really good. Like, it was a really good technique to use. And I dissed the pilot, actually, on a camera technique that they used for Gordon, where it was like sort of, in Hangover 3 when Alan is running away from being abducted in the van and they have the camera on his face, the ghost hunter's face, where they're in night vision and they're looking around the graveyard and it's sort of like locked to their face.
Right.
They did that in the first Gotham. I didn't like it too much. This, though, they made up for it 100% because this was freaking awesome what they did right here. All right, so we know another victim happens, and this victim is in better shape than the other guy. He was catatonic. This guy can actually keep repeating the song and the lines from the play that he was in.
Like maybe he's trying to improve his technique.
Exactly. Exactly. He's getting better at it. Gordon's on the trail for staff now. He gets the director out of the way with Bullock. A brilliant scene with Harvey Bullock coming in and helping Jim out by getting the director out of the way so he can start checking out some of the staff, because now he's suspicious about the staff.
So were you wondering who that was?
I
doing that?
I kind of suspected. I had a few. I knew it wasn't the director.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I knew that.
He's just straight DB.
Yeah. Douchebag. Okay, yes.
he's an ass.
He's fucking banapple. He's a banapple. Anyway, I kind of had some suspicions. So they think it's possibly the nurse, right? Or something going on in the basement. And Jim takes the nurse down there. She realizes she's in trouble. Jim or Harvey Bullock is interviewing the director, and they realize that the nurse is actually not a staff member. She's a patient. And so she stages a whole breakout. For some reason, she thinks it's a good idea to let all the inmates out. Like, that's somehow going to help her situation. And when she does...
She's a little off.
She is a little off. Like, she gets trampled to death.
Like, at first I'm thinking, she's kind of, like, benign. She probably means well. Mm-hmm. She seems to like her job, which really wasn't her job.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really didn't think it was her. She was just used as a pawn, is what I was thinking.
She seriously was, because she actually ends up having the electrodes on her too. So she's being manipulated by the big bad guy. So yeah, here we go. She realizes she's in trouble. She throws Leslie Tompkins at Gordon. She lets all the inmates out. She starts chasing. And by the way, this is when I knew it was him.
Yeah.
This is when I knew it was him.
Which was, to me, a good idea.
Why?
Let the inmates out. Because
why?
It's massive destruction.
That would be you right there if you did that.
No, I probably would have just let them run. I would have been in the back.
You would have like not you. Okay, so you wouldn't have done it like Spain style.
It's like like run with the bulls. The bulls are going that way. I'm behind the bulls. Like why I'm still running with the bulls.
Ellen would be like, here, hold this sash. Hold this red sash for me. I'm gonna go behind this wall over here.
Or I would have used a couple inmates as like a meat shield.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea. Well, she gets trampled to death. It didn't work out well for her. And meanwhile, Jim Gordon actually has this really cool moment in here, which I think like shows his sort of command presence and that he's a leader, right? He actually holds the inmates off in their rampage. He gets them to stop, pay attention, take stock. It breaks down in the end, but he buys them enough time for Leslie to get Dr. Tompkins to get the key in the door, and they can get the heck out. So they think they've caught their person, and then they realize they're actually wrong.
That's not lipstick.
That's blood. Yeah, this is the moment I was talking about right here. They realize they're wrong, and so Jim starts rushing back to the asylum, but it's too late. It's too late. Jack Gruber escapes. This was his plan all along, and he murders the DB director, the douchebag right here. And Gordon finds this letter.
And weren't you like, he deserves that?
Kind of. He was a dick. He was a total dick.
I'm like, I don't feel so bad about that character right now. Mm-hmm. I usually have a lot of empathy for that character.
So this guy, they're setting this Gruber guy up for some bigger stuff. He's really satisfied with himself and his success in terms of using electricity to bend these people to his will. And he kills... The nurse gets killed, who's actually a patient. She's been hiding out in the basement this whole time. Go away, ghost.
I know. It's back.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone. Good job.
So Jim reads this great. It's in that actor's voice too, and he reads the letter. And he's going to be in next week's episode. They do the cliffhanger where this guy is electrocuting people left and right. He uses a bunch of electricity. So, very cool. All right, so that was the main Arkham storyline that was throughout the show. Really quick, we'll talk about the Barbara Gordon storyline. So she's obviously on a bender and is drinking and doing drugs.
That bottle of pills actually just fell on its own and the cap came off.
Okay, yeah, that's for heartburn. That's heartburn medication. She's stressed out.
Those are vitamins.
Vitamins. Yeah, vitamins. But they're the Lana Del Rey vitamins. Like, this is the Valley of the Dolls stuff going on right here. And so Renee doesn't look too happy. She doesn't look too happy up there at all. And this storyline ties in with the Selena Kyle Catwoman storyline as well. Let me move back through these a little bit here. So what happens is while really we realize Renee is sober now, and she actually breaks up with Barbara right here, and Barbara gets really pissed off, but Renee leaves and stays in the room. Meanwhile, Selena helps Poison Ivy, who's Ivy, right?
Just Ivy.
It's just Ivy here.
Spoiler, her name's Ivy.
Exactly.
Not
Hold
Poison
on,
Ivy.
Let me back up a second here. Sorry, I'm trying a new technique.
And I really like Selena and Ivy.
Yeah, they're good characters. And so Selena helps Ivy. It's a rainy alley. She wants to get her somewhere dry. And so she does help her. And for some reason, Selena decides she's going to break into Barbara Gordon's and Barbara's old apartment where Jim Gordon is staying. And she helps Ivy out, and they're staying there. So when Barbara is broken up with Renee, she goes to call Jim. And when she calls Jim, this is pretty creepy. Ivy answers the phone. And so this is where these two storylines kind of collide. Ivy answers the phone and starts fucking with Barbara on the other line, saying, "Oh yeah, Jim's on here. I'm a friend of Jim's. Yeah, Jim's here. He's like in the shower." I mean, this is a little girl doing this, right?
Yeah, but
it's
she's
really
wearing
creepy.
she's wearing like a Tim Burton sweater. It can't be good.
She is very Tim Burton-y.
She is, this character. Maybe
agree
that's
with
why
that.
I like it.
She has the funniest line in the show. Selena's like, she's eating some soup or something like that, and she turns around to Selena's obviously in the kitchen. She says, "Don't put any butter in it. I'm vegan." Which is like totally opposite what a Poison Ivy would say. She would probably be a total meat eater, wouldn't eat plants at all. So right now, Ivy is talking about how she's a vegan. I thought that was pretty funny moment. Funny haha. You were a vegan forever.
Maybe she's gonna
Weren't you vegan?
Maybe she's gonna try to kill people with soy products.
It's possible. How long were you a vegetarian for?
I was a vegetarian for 8 years, but I wasn't vegan.
You weren't vegan, right?
No, because I still had dairy, but it was pretty limited for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
When did you start eating meat again?
When you forced me to. And that can be taken a whole other way.
What was the first? Was it pepperoni, like pepperoni pizza?
No, I was already like, you're vegetarian for 8 years, and I started craving certain things, and I'm a big foodie. So,
you just gave up on it.
Well, it's not like giving up on it.
Screw
it was
you,
more
green
like,
beans.
It was more like, you know what? I want to have
a steak.
Well, I didn't start with, I kind of did start with, I made chili, and I used to make
oh my God!
Chili.
How'd
And
that
I didn't
go?
make it
I don't
ground
even remember.
beef, but I made it with steak, and I used to
Yeah.
cut up steak cubes, which is delicious in there, and I had a little bit of it, and I just didn't want to be a vegetarian anymore, so.
Ivy would be proud of you. So she fucks with Barbara here, and Barbara is really pissed off and throws the phone. She thinks Jim's having an affair already and sort of has left her. So yeah, not a good situation for Barbara. And that's that storyline that's going on. Meanwhile, there's another struggle going on with the Gotham underground, with the mobs, okay? So there's two storylines going on here, Penguin and Fish Mooney. Which, by the way, is funny because you think of like penguins eat fish, and he's trying to take over. And
I'm sure she's gonna.
I wonder if that like they considered that with the name. So this starts out with Penguin coming down and sort of trying to shake down some of these fishermen here.
And I love this actor.
Oh, he's like one of the greatest characters on here.
And I like what they're doing with the Penguin.
Yeah, instead of Penguin. Like yeah, and why is that? Tell people why.
Well, here's a funny thing. When he's talking, actually, I think it's in this scene, and this gentleman here, the fisherman, says, penguin, calls him penguin. He goes, "That's the penguin," and I immediately thought of that's exactly what I say in the office.
Yeah, because the DC approvals, if you wrote penguin, they would correct you immediately. Like,
so
it's the penguin.
With the developers, they're like penguin. I'm like the penguin.
Yeah.
So I literally am like, oh my god, I'm Oswald Cobblepot. Like
you're living that scene right there.
I thought of myself immediately. I'm like, yep, the penguin.
So Penguin shows up with his thug, and he's overreaching here. He's trying to shake down these dock workers, these fishermen, and basically get more money out of them.
Which is kind of slimy.
It is a little slimy. And he's basically, they're like, fuck you. We already paid our money. And he's like, I already paid it to Mooney. And he's like, you're not talking to Mooney. You're talking to me right now. And so he tries to shake him down. They're like, well, we called the cops. He's like, well, we own the cops. And interestingly enough, the cops show up. And Penguin's very confident. And they sock him in the face. And then they arrest him. And he spends the rest of this episode rotting in a cell, begging Harvey Bullock, old friend, let me out, wondering if he can get a call from Mooney. He seems very disoriented, very flustered. Basically, he's overreached and something has gone wrong. And later, Mooney comes and shows up and basically tells him, you know why you're in there? And he's like, well, the cops, obviously, he's like, it was a rhetorical question. He's like, you're in there because I put you in there. And basically, Mooney flexes his muscles here and checks Penguin a little bit. Who's working, but if you didn't know this, he's a mole. He's a rat. He works for Falcone.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And, so this was a great moment. And you could see the hatred building with this character against Mooney. Very, very cool scene. And meanwhile, we have Fish Mooney doing her thing. But you know what? That's not really a Fish Mooney story. It's a Butch story. And that's what I love about this entire episode. And actually this show. This show isn't afraid to spend time on minor or secondary, tertiary even characters, right? And this guy Butch is really just the guy who runs the crew for Fish Mooney. And this episode, this whole storyline where Fish is trying to, maneuver herself to take over the mob and take over for Falcone is really about him. And it kind of starts out, let me back up a second here. It kind of starts out with him and this childhood friend of his who's also in the mob. And Fish is talking to them and basically saying, this guy right here, who's Butch's friend, I think his name is Jimmy, and Fish is trying to basically determine who's going to take over when Falcone is gone. And this guy is like, me. And she's like, well, I never really considered you. He's like, well, why wouldn't it be me? I'm the next in line. And Butch starts watching this exchange. He's really confused, and Fish has him go talk to him. And the whole time they're setting up that you really feel like Butch is going to betray Fish, and they're going to take out this minor character. And that is not how it goes down at all. Butch ends up shooting his childhood friend in the head at this very dock at the end of the episode.
Brutal.
Blows him away for Fish. So you really, really understand that Butch is in Fish's camp. And yes, Frank, Penguin gets out.
The Penguin.
That just happened.
I can't help it.
So yes, the Penguin gets out, and Mooney really kind of puts him in his place. So that does happen. But yeah, Butch really shows himself to be loyal to Fish in this episode, and it was an awesome storyline. One of my favorites in the episode, actually. So
and I don't trust her.
Who, Fish?
Her face doesn't move enough.
See, now you're making some Jada Pinkett, Botoxy Hollywood statement.
Yeah.
That's all right. I think she's quite expressive, actually, in the whole thing. I like her mannerisms. I actually like Fish in this.
Oh, I like Jada. I remember when I saw her in it was a terrible Matrix movie. Was it the third one?
Yeah, she was. I think she was in the second and the third. Go away, evil ghost.
Second and third. So I did. I liked her in that.
Yeah.
But she's lost a lot of movement from like here, in her eyes and her forehead.
Yeah.
And she's really young, and I don't think she really needed to do that much work.
Oh my God, I'm just playing around with the camera and I shouldn't. We're gonna have to work. Look at this, Ellen. It's all fuzzy. We need to get a better camera. I don't think this web camera is working it.
No.
Anyway,
Because it's adding 30 pounds to this. I don't...
Look at 30 pounds to this. Yeah! Yeah! All right, so I can't believe I've had this picture up the whole time. Sorry about that. Let me close that down. It wasn't a banapple. It was a couple of grapples. Yeah. Anyway, that was Spyt-Takes tonight, episode 8. We covered Constantine. Oh, sorry, not Constantine. We covered The Librarians. We covered Sleepy Hollow. And we covered Gotham. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking this out. We'll get this replay up on YouTube really soon. Thank you for bearing with our technical issues that we had there that I created. Welcome to the show, Eleanor.
Thanks. And
Awesome
I'm
to have
glad
you.
we could also cover Banapple,
Yeah.
Grapple, and
Hybrid,
Pineapple.
crazy.
Yes.
Pineapple, the new one.
Yes.
Get genetic engineers. Get on that pineapple. It should be like, a kind of a banana. No, what would it be? Would it be
I don't want to say what it's going to be. Use your imagination.
It should be like a banana with a nub on the end of it or something. I guess, right?
With a kiwi on the
With a
end.
key.
Anyway.
Anyway, thank you all for tuning in and watching. Thanks for doing the show with me, Ellen, my new regular co-host here
Glad
on
to be here.
Spyt-Takes. I will be streaming Smite after this in a few minutes, so hang tight, and wait for that. I will be sending out a tweet as to when that starts. If you want to watch me play some Smite and do my regular Thursday night live stream, that'll be happening soon. This was a long show, Ellen. We went an hour and a half.
Oh,
Crazy.
It didn't feel that long. Hopefully it didn't feel that long for these guys.
Yeah. Well, actually, we broke it in half when I had to start over, but...
Yeah.
What are you going to do? All right, thank you. Hey, remember, you can always stop by www.spittle.com and check out the various areas where you can see and support the show, such as on Patreon. Really do appreciate your support. We are building out a big studio here and trying to get all kinds of cool software and really increase the production value of these things. Working on it as we go, and your help matters, so thank you for your support. If you don't want to support, that's okay. You can watch us for free on our YouTube channel as well. And checking out Patreon, you'll see free stuff there too. So, thank you again.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.
Later.
See if I stopped it successfully. I don't think I did yet. We're still going!
I'm going to talk about something completely terrible.
Pineapple.